Hi everyone. I'll just sit on here for a minute. Right, turntable talk. How you doing? I'm Robin Williams. I'm the guy, not the comedian, because he's dead, but I'm the guy that put the post up for cleaning records with glue, PVC glue. Excuse me, I'm not at work at the moment. I've let myself go. I'm not shaved or anything. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm here at my house in England, in Oxfordshire, and I'm up in my little room. It's just a spare bedroom that I use as an office. And I also clean my LPs up here. I don't have a washer. I use glue. Um, and what I'm going to do now is a few of you asked me to make a video just to show what I did. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You put the glue on, you let it dry, you take it off. But a few of you have asked me to do a video. Yeah, I know. Anyway, okay. Okay, so it's not going to be easy because obviously, I'm talking into the camera and I'm going to have to do this one-handed. I've already prepared an LP that I've used, I've had for quite a while. I bought it from a guy on eBay, Dire Straits Love Over Gold. And it was a bit clicky and a bit crackly, so I gave it the PVA glue treatment, and I've not yet taken the glue off. So we're going to do that. Okay, you can do it with me, and then we'll go downstairs and we'll wash it, and we'll put it on the turntable, and we'll see what happens. I've no idea how I'm going to manage all of this because I need to find an app or something where I can stitch this video together so you can see the whole thing. Right, okay. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to use this LP. This is a copy of Ravel's Bolero. If any of you, I know a lot of you are in the States, but if any of you remember Torval and Dean, was it 1982, 1983 at the Olympics, Winter Olympics? Anyway, I came by this record, and honestly, I didn't buy it, I promise you. But I came by this record in a package of records that I picked up for next to nothing. And I have played it once. It's not very good. Okay, it's a bit scratchy, clicky, clicky. Right, okay. I'd just like to apologise if my London accent sticks out every now and again, but I don't, it's not as bad as it used to be. But anyway, if you can't understand what I'm saying, then um, comment below, as they say. Right. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to use this, or I'm going to use this LP, this here LP, and I'm going to cover it in PVA glue, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. Okay, so that's it for now. I know it doesn't look too bad, does it? Get it in the light. Looks quite new, but don't they all? None of us have got microscopes for eyes, and there's a lot of shit on this LP. Okay, right. So we're putting that aside, and I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we're going to move on to the next bit. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but bear with me. Okay, right. Here we go. Right, I'm back again. Okay. This, as you can see here, is the copy of Dire Straits' Love Over Gold. And I did this LP last night. It looks like a picture of the universe with all the little bubbles in it and stuff. But as you can see, it's dried. There's quite a thick layer on there, and we'll be taking that off later, and you can watch me do that. Okay, so what we've got here is we've got the PVA glue. I think in America you call it something glue. I forgot what it was now. I can't remember the name you call it over there. But in England it's PVA. PVA is a initials for a scientific formula of which I have no bloody idea what it is. I wouldn't even been able to pronounce it, let alone anything else. But it's the glue that's used by children to stick paper and cardboard and stuff like that at school, in primary school, reception class. Like my 3-year-old grandson, he uses this stuff. Which is actually, you know, this is another bottle there which actually belongs to him. This is his toys and stuff, and that's my guitars and stuff. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this on this copy of Ravel's Bolero. Okay, I don't know if that's, oh, actually we're on side 2. Let's turn it over. Yeah, I know I'm handling it, I know that, but it's just a shit copy just to explain to you what it is I do. Okay, right now, okay, now I'm right-handed, so I've got to hold the camera in my left hand, and you're going to have to excuse me because I've got to actually look at this live as I'm doing it, otherwise I'll be putting it all over the place, all right, and it'll end up all down my jeans and all sorts of stuff, all right? Right, so what I do is I basically do a little squiddly, turny kind of jobby. It's a bit like icing a cake, really. You know, I mean, I haven't got a clue how to ice cakes. I burn ice cream. But you see, that's basically what I do. It's a bit like, I don't know if you got them in America when you was a kid. And we had a thing in England called a spirograph. If you go to Uncle Google will tell you what a spirograph is, or was. I was born in 1958, so I had a spirograph because I'm old enough for that. Okay, so there you go. There's our iced LP cake. Okay, now there's 2 ways of doing this, or 3 ways. One is you can use a bit of cardboard, which I've got here, and to spread it, which I'm not very keen on. You can do that if you want, okay? The other one is to use a credit card, which is actually sitting in my wallet in my arse pocket of my jeans, and I'm not going to get it out now because I haven't got 3 hands. But what I've done is got it all on, and as you can see, it's starting to level, okay? It's starting to self-level, which is what it does. It spreads out and it self-levels, and there's no rush to do this. It's not going to dry in a few minutes. In fact, it's going to take 24 hours or longer. All right. Right. So what do I use to spread? I'll tell you what I use to spread. This. Yeah, my fingers. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start off to showing you pretty much what I do here. And what I'm going to do is, you see the run out grooves in the middle, okay? What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try to avoid getting the glue into the run out area, into this run out area, because there's no need to put glue in there. There's no need, okay? Because that's where, if you've got an automatic turntable, it's going to lift off anyway. And when it finishes, you know what we all do? We run to the deck to get the arm off. So don't worry about that, but you can just ignore that, okay? And the other thing is I try to avoid getting it on the run-in area if I can, okay? So what you end up with is this run-in area here where the needle runs in. Don't know if any of you have noticed, but in a bad record, it's really, really scratchy and horrible. When the needle hits that groove, it's really scratchy and clicky, and all of a sudden, when it gets onto the record, it stops. And the music starts playing, and it's not so bad. So I tend not to bother. It's up to you. It's up to you. But getting it on this bit here, okay, it can stick to the edges. And it's a bit, you know, a bit nasty getting it all off, but it's not a problem, because what we're going to do when we've done this, when it gets to this state, is that once we pulled it off, we're going to wash it. So it doesn't matter, okay? Okay, so I'm going to carry on doing this. And then I'm going to stop the video now because it's nearly 5 minutes. And I'll get back to you in a while when I've finished spreading this over. I might have to put a bit more on, because the idea is that if you can see black through the glue after it's settled, let it settle, give it half an hour or an hour. If you can still see the black of the record through the glue, squeeze a bit more on and just rub it over and let it self-level, okay? Right, I'll be back in a while. Hi again. Right, I'm back again. Now, as you can see, I've given it an hour, and as you can see, the glue has spread over. I spread it over with my fingers, and as you can see, it's pretty much starting to self-level. So it is going out of focus, sorry. And as I said to you before, you see these black areas where you can see the vinyl through the glue, okay? Not really a problem, but I prefer to put a little touch more on. Not too much, just a little bit. Just to sort of, you know, make it just a little bit thicker. Because what it means is that where you can see the record through the glue means that the glue is very thin, obviously. And when you peel it off, it can break. Not the record, the glue. So if the glue breaks, then you got this sort of bit where you got a bit here and a bit there, and it all gets a bit, you know. Right, so you want a nice thick, not that thick, but you want a nice thick layer of glue, okay? So I'm just gonna, I know that when I touch it, you see the record, but what happens is that it actually self-levels again afterwards. So don't worry, this is actually pretty much thick enough anyway. But I'll put a bit more on anyway, just for the hell of it. Okay, so that will now be left pretty much until maybe 15 hours, maybe 20 hours, whatever, 24 maybe, depends. There's one thing that you should not do. You should not be tempted to put this under a heat source or use a hairdryer or something like that. Yeah, I know there's one on the floor, and a few of you probably noticed that it's there, but that was it because my missus did her hair this morning and she did it in here. She dried her hair in here, so it's got nothing to do with this. Now, the reason being is that obviously you'll warp the record, okay, because the glue will hold the heat from the hairdryer and it will keep holding it until it warps the record. And then you got a buggered record that you can't use, okay? So, let it dry naturally. If you had, say, a light, say like a lamp here, I haven't got one, okay? But if you had like a lamp, then the lamp could sit here and the gentle heat from the light could help to dry it. But that's as far as I go. I wouldn't go any further than that, okay? So, what we're going to do now is we're going to turn our attention to the one that I did yesterday. And we're going to take the glue off, okay? Now, sometimes this goes well, sometimes it goes not so well, but it's not a big deal. It's all off in the end, and that's all that matters, okay? Now, what I've got to do now is find a way of rigging this camera so that you can see what I'm doing. So, I'll be back in a minute. Hi guys, okay, I'm back. Now, as you can see, I'm wearing gloves for this because this is a record I want to keep if if this works properly. So what I've done is I've taken off the little piece of paper I used just to start it, okay? And what we have is the glue just coming away from the record. Can you see that? I can get it a bit closer. Sorry, I'm not really set up for this, but you can see there's a layer of glue there, and it's quite thick. You can see it's opaque. Okay, it's not thin, it's quite opaque. See the light going through there. Okay, so quite simply, what I'm going to do is, I'm sorry about the camera angle, but you know, I'm just going to gently get the light on it, pull this back. It comes off quite easy. Okay, and then I'll just move along a little bit just to I'll try to avoid getting any breaks on the edges, and comes off quite smooth. And just give it a tug, if you pardon the expression, and we'll see how we go. So as you can see, it's coming off quite well. Okay, just give it a bit of a pull on the edges just to make sure it doesn't break on the edges. Doesn't matter if it does, don't worry about that. Okay, and so far so good. Okay, so we'll keep pulling and see what we end up with. So far it's looking really good. I can actually see muck. You probably can't see it in the camera, but I can actually see muck on this that's come out of the grooves. Little tiny bits and pieces. So I'll keep pulling. As you can see, I said don't get it in the run out area, but as you can see, I've got a little bit in the run out area, just there, but it doesn't matter. Okay, it really doesn't matter. All right, so just keep pulling, and there we have it. Okay, now let me just get the camera here, and hi again, and I'm just going to put it down, and what we're going to do, I'm just going to turn this around so that you can see what's going on. So I'll be back in a second. Okay. Okay, so we've taken the glue off, which is this. It looks like a snake's skin, pretty much. It's like a sort of gluey LP clone. Weird, but there's a lot of dirt come out of the grooves on that, and as I hopefully will be seeing later on. Right, okay, here's the record. Pretty clean. It needs a wash. Always wash it after you've done this. And that's about all there is to it, really. So I'm going to wash this now. I'm just going to use a bowl of water, a shallow bowl of water with a tiny drop of washing up liquid, and just clean it gently. Just using my fingers, just rinse the water over it and then pat it dry with a microfiber cloth. It will also be sitting on a microfiber cloth, and then it will just dry naturally quite quickly, and we can pop it on the turntable and play it. Now a few of you will notice that I haven't done a before and after listening test, okay, but the other side of this record has not been cleaned. All right, so I'm going to play the other side, which is pretty much the same as the first side. It's just that I forgot to do the listening test at the beginning, but you know, bear with me. I'm not a professional. All right. Okay, so I'll be back in just a while. Oh yeah, right. Okay. I've washed the record and put it just let it dry a little bit. Okay. What I forgot to mention at the beginning was that I bought this record off a guy on eBay, and when it arrived, it was very slightly warped. Okay. I did play it once to see if it played okay, and it does, which is one of the reasons why I decided to use it for this little test, this little experiment with the glue, to show you what I do, rather than use one of my other better LPs. But it plays fine. Okay. So what we're going to do, we'll drop the needle. Okay. And see, it's going to be a little bit scratchy at the beginning because it's an old record, and that always happens. But what we're listening for is the music, and it was very scratchy. Although, as I said, I forgot to do a before listening test so you could hear it. But it was scratchy, just take my word for it. So we'll just drop the needle. Just turn it up a bit. Hello, me again. Well, that's pretty much it. Okay. You know, not the most professional video in the world. And I know I forgot to do the sound test at the beginning, but just take it from me that it was scratchy. This kind of thing, okay? And as hopefully you heard just now, that track I just played, which I think side 2, there was no clicking on there, and there was before. I can tell you that now, okay? That's gone. So as you can see, yeah, you know, it's a bit long-winded, shall we say, but you've only got to do it once. And that's it really. So for those of you, I think there was something like 190 comments on my post, which did surprise me. A few of you have never seen it before. And I spent 14 years working for the BBC in London. And I saw record archives that were encased in glue. They don't do it anymore because it's the digital age. But it happened. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything else you want me to do, just let me know. And that's about it really. So this is Robin signing off, and thanks for watching. Any comments? Down below. Cheers.